हरिदास जी दौड़े उतावले, शीस नमाया चरण, कही हरिदास कहा करतहु, हाथों उठाया तिन। कही हरिदास जी कहा करतहु, हाथों उठाया तिन। हरिदास जी दौड़े उतावले। बोले श्री राम के धनी की जय। We are the seekers of truth. We are the seekers of Lord's grace and transcendence. I'm so proud of you, so proud of your participation and engagement in learning about the great teachings of Bhagavatam. I was brought to humanity by Satguru Shree Devchandraji and Mahamati Prananath. His Mundako Upanishad says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedayana Bahuta Smritena Yame Vaisha Vishnude Tena Labhyastaisha Atma Vibhutane Tanusha. The Lord Supreme, the Atman, the Brahman, is not to be attained through discourses. He is not to be attained through intellect or through much of the hearing. That which one seeks, the seeker only, by that only, by seeking, the Lord is attained. To such a seeker, the Lord Himself reveals His true nature. Devchandraji is a true seeker. He is seeking for years. He is in pursuit of the Lord Supreme. And it turns out after years of his relentless pursuit, relentless seeking, his quest, he is rewarded with the transcendent understanding of Dharma. We are trying to learn about and listen to his life, his penance, his devotion, his sadhana. For that matter, because we are in the pursuit of the same. Knowingly or unknowingly, every one of the living beings, every one jiva is trying to understand, trying to find meaning to their lives, trying to delve into, trying to dive into that eternal ocean of happiness and bliss, intentionally or inadvertently. So Sundar Saji, let's recap what we discussed yesterday. We discussed about the disappearance of Bal Mukundaji and his subsequent darshana by Guruji Haridasi. As Bal Mukundaji explains why he disappeared, we went deeper into the understanding of why it happened. We understood the significance of Ananya Bhakti, the exclusive devotion to one God and one God only. The exclusive devotion to Lord Supreme and how that ensures salvation or moksha. Is one of the ancient Vedas, Yajurveda states, Tameva viditva timritumeti nanya pantha vidyateyana. Until one submits wholeheartedly to the Lord Supreme, moksha cannot be attained, salvation cannot be attained. So we talked about that exclusive devotion Ananya Bhakti yesterday. We talked about the importance of praying to one divine being. As many scriptures, Vedic scriptures, give credence to that. And as we know, Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Islam, are all in that school of monotheistic belief. Christianity talks about one God in three forms: God, the Holy Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Islam exclusively talks about Allah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. God is one, but none. And Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. So Islam and Christianity, or the Abrahamic religious traditions, are monotheistic. And it is believed, generally believed, that Hinduism is polytheistic belief. But if you delve deeper into the scriptures of Hinduism, be it Bhagavad Gita, Puran Samhita, and others, you find that God is one. And all the deities and demigods are just carrying out the divine plan of the Lord Supreme. They are representing Lord Supreme in this world, in this delusive world. Yet, we need to understand that what all exists is the abode of the Lord Supreme, because it's nothing but the dream of Akshara Brahma, the creator of multitudes of universes like this. And when he is awake, nothing exists, neither the demigods nor any of the jivas, including ourselves. So as Haridasi was told of Devchandraji's divinity, Devchandraji comes to Haridasi's place early in the morning. He could not wait for the arrival of Devchandraji today. When Haridasi received the darshan of Balmukundaji, Haridasi asked Balmukundaji, if I cannot give you to Devchandraji for devotional services, what should I offer him? Because I already promised to give you to him. And Balmukundaji states that give him the divine cloth of Banke Bihari, the youth form of Sri Krishna. And there are different stories about where that divine costume of Banke Bihari got to Haridasi. We can talk about that later on. So Haridasi was so anxious, so desperate to meet Devchandraji today. So he could not wait for Devchandraji's arrival, because he was truly blessed. He felt truly fortunate to have a glimpse of Balmukundaji, and it was made possible only due to Devchandraji and his divinity. So the Haridasi left for Devchandraji's place. Haridasi greeted Devchandraji first, bowing his head to the feet of Devchandraji. Devchandraji was embarrassed. He didn't know how to react, because instead of him bowing down, it was his spiritual master, it was his Guruji who was bowing down to him. Devchandraji lifts Haridasi and asks the reason for such actions. Guruji, what are you doing? I'm the one who should be greeting you, bowing down to, not you. Haridasi humbly said, Oh Devchandra, I was incognizant of your divinity. Your divinity and greatness was revealed to me by Balmukundaji himself, and I got a divine glimpse of him yesterday. As Haridasi touched the glorious feet of Devchandraji, he actually remembered his past life. Dear Sundarshaji, while Abrahamic religious traditions have hard time comprehending the concept of reincarnation, Hinduism, the Vedic tradition, believes that it is not our first life, the relationship that we are into today. The disposition that we have about God in life is not built in this life alone. We have hundreds of thousands of lives previously. And in those lives, we have always been in pursuit of God. And only after praying to other deities and demigods for hundreds of millions of lives, we get to know about Sri Krishna, the Lord Supreme. In the past life, Haridasi was says Garga Rishi, who was the priest of Vrishabhan, the father of Radharani. And Devchandraji was none other than Radharani in Brahms. When Radharani was born, Garga Rishi, Garga Saint Garga, wanted to touch her lotus feet and receive her blessings. But it was against the custom for a guru, for a spiritual master, to touch the feet of the disciple. So Gargarisi wanted to do it, but his desire was not fulfilled in the past life. So this time, when he touched the lotus feet of Devchandraji, although he was his disciple, as was in past life, he felt blessed. He felt fulfilled. But Devchandraji was not aware of past life or his desire to touch the lotus feet. So Devchandraji pleaded Haridasi to not do such a thing ever again, because he was a disciple, not vice versa. Because it would be against the Vedic practices. The Vedas, the scriptures state that it is the disciple who always bow down to his or her spiritual master. It was the custom of that time. Finally, Devchandraji reaches Haridasi's place, and he was given the divine cloth of Bhakti Bihari, the youth form of Sri Krishna, who participated in the eternal sports of Ras with 12,000 consorts in eternal Vrindavan. Devchandraji was told to offer his utmost submission in the service of Bhakti Bihari. Devchandraji does the same. He spends hours in meditation and chanting of God's name and the mantra that is given to him by Haridas. Let's look into the devotion. Let's look into the disposition of Devchandraji towards the Lord. Although he's married, he has kids, he has mom and dad at home. He cooks everything by himself, serves the Lord by himself, fetches water from nearby pond himself. He does it all by himself. While bringing water, if the shadow of bird falls on water, it dumps it out and fetches the water again. With such purity in thoughts and mind and his actions, he dedicates his life in the service of Sri Krishna. His wife asked if she can help with some of the services in the devotional services of the Lord, but he respectfully declines, because for him, it is his test that he needs to be a part of, not her. It is his pursuit, not hers. He humbly denies her from leading the service because he feels, what if her disposition is not pure? What if she becomes lethargic? What if she has some negative feelings that come to her? Because the service to the Lord, the devotional service, should be spontaneous, should be voluntary. It should not be forced upon, not come from somebody else's suggestion. As Mahamati Prananath says, the service to the Lord should come spontaneously. You should not be told to do this or that. Mukhati seva tune si kahu jo tu antar adotal aneka vidha seva karni tune upajase tatal. When there is purity in your heart, when you dedicate your life in the service of God, then you find different ways of serving God. You should not be told of doing this or that. Lilva is not happy with what she is told, but she has no choice. The women of the town, Jamnagar, talk behind her back, criticize her, make fun of her, allowing her husband to do everything. But she continues serving him and his parents, her in-laws, Matumeta and Pungalu, and her kids. One day, Devchandraji finds himself in deeper meditative state. He gets into deeper meditation and he finds himself in eternal Gokul, in Brajaman. As soon as he gets there, in the meditative states, he finds Yasodamaya, the mother of Lord Sri Krishna of Brajmandal, sitting on the wooden bed, and she is boiling the milk. As soon as she saw Devchandra, she recognized him and asked, "Oh, Devchandra, how did you come?" Casually, as if it is so frequent. Devchandraji said, "I've come to meet Sri Krishna. Where is he? I cannot wait to meet him. I'm so eager, impatient to have a meeting with him." She said, "He's gone to Vrindavan with his friends for grazing the cows." She said, "You can wait. He will come in few hours. You can have something to eat. And when he returns, you can meet him." But Devchandraji said, I do not have any patience to wait for his arrival. I don't have any patience." And Yasodamaya said, "If that is the case, take some of these homemade sweets and share with Kanaya, share with Krishna." Devchandraji promptly leaves for Vrindavan, where Sri Krishna was to be found with his friends. Once he got there, he saw so many kids, so many Gwalwal, the kids of Gopiya, identical in many ways. They were all young, similar dress, age, and height, mostly. He called out one of the boys, and asked for Sri Krishna. The boy said, "Which Krishna are you looking for?" Devchandraji was surprised. "Are there many Krishnas?" And the boy said, "Yes. Krishna is someone with dark complexion, Syam. It is a color. So someone with dark complexion is called Syam. So there are many Krishnas." Devchandraji said, "I'm looking for the son of Nanda Baba." The boy said, "Oh, Nanda Baba. There are many Nanda Babas. Which Nanda Baba are you looking for?" So Nanda Baba is someone who has 900,000 cows. So there are quite a few Nanda Babas in Brajamandal. And eventually Devchandraji asked for the son of Yashodamaya. The boy said, the boy that you are looking for is right in front of you. I am the son of Yashodamaya. I am Shyam, I am Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna said, "So glad to meet you, Devchandra." The second time, Devchandraji was surprised. "When did we meet the first time? I do not recall meeting you before." Sri Krishna smiled and said, "You remember when you were going to Kacha in pursuit of the divine, finding answers to the questions that you had? I was there. You had lost your way. I was there in form of a soldier. I was there in disguise as a soldier. Do you remember? I was holding sword, I had long mustache and everything. And I showed you the path to the people going to that wedding ceremony of the prince." Devchandraji was so amazed, so surprised, so happy to have found that it was the same Lord who had helped him find the right path. Devchandraji held a long conversation with Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna asked about Devchandra, his pursuit and everything. And after a long conversation, the food was being prepared for all the boys to eat. The grain of wheat cooked in milk, gungari, the offering the sanctified offering was being prepared. And as Devchandra, who came in Brajamandal as Radharani, was receiving the prasad for himself and Sri Krishna, one for himself, one for Sri Krishna, he abruptly comes out of the meditative state. He finds himself in Vujnagar. He finds himself in Vujnagar with Gungari's prasad in his hands. He realizes then that the Sri Krishna of eternal Goloka is the Lord he's been looking for. Because he said that it is the second time I've met you. So that means it is the same Lord that he is actually looking for. He continues to wish to participate in the Brajalila. आरो गने आरो गावने लगे इनको दिल में करा विश्वास, दिल में यही उपजी ब्रजलीला की रही आज. After this divine encounter with Sri Krishna in his meditative state, Devchandraji realizes that Lord Sri Krishna was the God he was in pursuit of. But he was not satisfied. He had met Lord Sri Krishna twice, but his questions still remained unanswered. He still didn't know who he was, why God created this universe, why he came to the world, what purpose that he had in coming to this world. He decided to go to Jamnagar, Gujarat, in order to continue his pursuit. The religious scholars of Pranami faith give different reasons to why he decides to go to Jamnagar. The first reason being, his spiritual teacher Haridasi, his Guruji Haridasi, would no longer regard him as his disciple, because he received the divine darshan of Bal Mukundaji and he began bowing down to Devchandraji. And Devchandraji realized that only a disciple can learn something from his spiritual master. So there are no more expectations of divine understanding from Haridasi, because he begins to regard Devchandraji in a different way. He begins to respect the divinity of Devchandraji. So the teacher should be higher up and the disciples should be lower down, so that the knowledge, the treasure of knowledge, can be poured down in the heart of the disciple. But Devchandraji is regarded highly by Haridasi, so it is not happening any longer. And in that Guru-Shishya relationship, in that Guru-disciple relationship, is no longer maintained. So Devchandraji feels that it is the time to move on. The second reason for why he leaves for Jamnagar is his wife frequently tells him about what she has to endure, because he would not allow her to do anything. Serving the Lord, washing dishes, preparing the offering for the Lord. He does everything. And she has been criticized in Vujnagar for that. Every women friends that she has, she complains. All the friends of hers make fun of her for allowing her husband to do everything. So she constantly reminds what she has to go through every day in Vujnagar. So she also suggests that if they could leave to another town, that would be better for her. And thirdly, while he had an encounter with Lord Sri Krishna, Bal Mukundaji in Braj, he did not get to experience the divine romantic leelas with Sri Krishna that he was once a part of. He was Radharani in Ras Leela. He got to experience the Leelas of Paramdham. Devchandraji, Sundarbai, consort of Paramdham, says yet to experience that. We had the encounter with Sri Krishna, but there is something still missing. And his questions still remain unanswered. As such, he decides to go to Jamnagar. अब यहाँ से आए बीच हलार देश तहाँ नवतन पुरी मिने बहुत जमा भएकी छ. So from Bhusnagar, Devchandraji decides to move eastward towards Jamnagar. Jamnagar is the town established by Arjuna, because when Sri Krishna was leaving his divine body and returning to Vaikuntha, he told Arjuna to establish a new city for all of his wives, 16,108 in numbers, and his kids, and establish a new town. That is why it is called Nawanagar. And the Jam king, the king, had it called Jamnagar. So Devchandraji goes to Jamnagar. There are numbers of followers of Vallabha tradition. He sets everything up. He is 25 now. So he stays with Haridasi for 4 years. After the darshana of Bal Mukundaji in Brazil, he realizes that he needs to move on, and he finds himself in Navtinpuri at the age of 25. He looks around, finds a place where he could learn about God, and at the age of 26, after everything set up, he starts attending the Bhagavata Discourse by Guruji Kanji Bhatta, a Bhagavata scholar. With undivided attention, he begins to be a part of the Bhagavata Discourse. But he does not get to experience all the good things there. He gets into some scuffles with some other participants of the Bhagavata Discourse. The wealthy business people who have retired, they also join the discourse of Kanji Bhatta. Devchandraji does not eat anything until his soul is fed. Until he listens to the discourse of Bhagavata by Kanji Bhatta, he does not feed his body. Because we discussed previously that for him, for Devchandraji, feeding soul matters more than feeding the body. Because it is the soul that keeps the body alive. Without the soul, the body is of no use. It is just a structure of bone and muscles, bone and flesh. When the life is gone, it becomes a dead body. It does not have any name, it does not have any identity. It is a dead body. Jalapan ko taba kare taba ahar deve atam, taba ahar akar ko deve na kare kam. When his soul is fed, only then he feeds his body. Devchandraji is so relentless in his pursuit. His eagerness not to quit, not to give up, despite the challenges, despite the criticism of his own parents and everyone around him. He does not stop at his first juncture, his first goal. He met Lord Sri Krishna, the divine that he was looking for, yet he didn't stop until his mind is fully satiated, until his inquiries are satisfied, his questions are answered. He persevered in his pursuits. He had heard numerous criticisms from his own people, his wife, parents, and relatives. But when you believe something that no one does, It is hard to have courage to continue. We do not have the audacity left to continue. And sadly but truly, most of the time it's our own people who are susceptible to our potentials. It is our people who discourage us from reaching our potentials. Sundar Saji, yet we need to continue believing in ourselves. We should actually learn to disregard the naysayers. We should learn to disregard the naysayers. We should learn to continue if we believe in something and we have the confidence in our potentials. Now, the number of people who is against Devchandraji continues to grow. In the Bhagavata Discourse, there are people who are against Devchandraji and his loyalty to understanding Bhagavad. But he is determined, is resolute in his mission. And he knows that with his 2 encounters with the Lord, तू आपे न्यारी होता है पियो नहीं तुझसे दूर परदा तू ही करता है अंतर नाड़ी हो. Devchandraji realizes that it is us that build the distance between ourselves and the Lord. Lord is not far away. Devchandraji realizes that. While Devchandraji seems to be in the pursuit of divine reality and understanding of the Brahma, of the Lord Supreme, Prananath says, Aye Sri Devchandraji Navatan Puri Sukha Sabo ko dene dehadai. He came to Navatan Puri to give happiness, to spread happiness to all. It is where Ina Itai Pari Badi Khoja Chahe Dhaniji ko Mula Sanjog. Sundar Saji, it takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication and sacrifices to reach our goals in life. Be it academic, be it career, be it the financial goals. It requires a lot of patience, relentless efforts, also include a lot of failures and letdowns. Yet, those who continue, who push forward, push ahead, relentlessly realize those goals. Satguru's life, Devchandraji's life and penance serve as the most exemplary examples that reference to that. So when he goes to Kanjivata, he is so disciplined. He sits on the same seat every single day in the front bench. And for some reason, if he comes late to the class, he asked Kanjivata to repeat the discussion on that. He asked for the book, read those verses, and after the class is over, he goes to Kanjivata and asks him to explain those verses. So it's such, Kanjivata does not start his teachings on Bhagavata until Devchandraji comes. जो कदी एक दुई श्लोक आगे बाँचे हुए थिन तो फेर पुस्तक मगाएके वही सुने वचन. ऐसा जानके भट्ट तोलो न खोले पुस्तक जोलो श्री देवचंद्रजी न आवे और बात न करे गुजर. Some of the participants, some of the listeners of his Bhagavata discourse are the wealthy businessmen of Jamnagar. They are not happy with this attitude of Kanjivata. They complain of his bias, unjust treatment, and question the fairness to the listeners. We are the ones say this wealthy businessmen, wealthy listeners, the Chaudharis of Jamnagar who listened to his Bhagavad discourse. Oh, we provide for this temple. We provide you the resources to be able to continue this Bhagavad discourse. But why is it that you do not start the discourse until Devchandra comes? Why is it that you always glorify Devchandra in his listening? Anjivata smiles. Oh, listeners, I do not do the Bhagavad discourse for anyone. I do it for myself. I do it in the service of God. If you think that by paying, by offering some donations, by giving charity to this temple, you're doing a favor to me, if that is the case, then you don't have to do it. Because the service should be without any expectations. Niskam Seva is what Sri Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. When you serve someone, serve without any expectations of favors in return. So I do not do it for Devchandra, I do not do it for you guys, I do it for myself. It is the way I serve that Lord, this is the way I serve the Lord Supreme. They are not happy with the response. Kanji Bhatta says, I do not start until Devchandra comes because he is the one who is the most attentive. He is the one who asks questions. He is the one who is so attentive, so inquisitive. He is the one who knows what's coming out of me. He is the one who is always paying attention to details. These other listeners say, do you think we do not pay attention? Do you think that we are not as eager as Devchandraji to learn the Leelas of Sri Krishna? Is that what you think? Then you must be truly wrong. Bhattaji, we are as inquisitive as Devchandra. We pay attention to details as well as Devchandra. You are misunderstood. You have the misunderstanding that we are not paying attention to the details. Kanjivata keeps smiling and asks, okay, if that is the case, if you are as attentive as you say you are, can you please review what we discussed yesterday? What canto, what verse, what chapter were we covering yesterday? And all the Chaudharis, all the listeners bow their head in shame because they didn't know what was discussed yesterday. They just felt good coming into the discourse. They were not as interested. It just felt good to be in satsangs. A lot of times we go to temple to hear the discourse and we find ourselves not interested in what is being told. Such was the case with the Chaudharis, with these listeners. Devchandraji was a little late that day on the discourse. As soon as Devchandraji came and greeted Guruji and all the participants, the same question was asked to Devchandra. Hey Devchandra, can you please tell us all what we discussed yesterday? Can you recap the discussions of yesterday? Devchandraji explained everything. We were on this particular chapter, particular canto, particular verse, and you gave references of these Leelas and you quoted these Puranas and everything. He gave the very minute details of yesterday's discussion. All the Chaudharis, all the participants were left feeling guilty. They had nothing to say. They realized that they were not as good as Devchandraji. Yet, they felt like they should. They felt like they should find a way to undermine Devchandraji and Kanjivatta. Chidra ko dhunat rahe. They were looking for the mistakes that Devchandraji makes. They're looking for the weaknesses. Devchandraji's sagacious response, the witty response, silenced all of them for a moment. But they are not done. They are not done. Dear Sundar Satji, that part of discussion and the advent of Tartam, after 14 years of continuous persistence in listening about the discourse from Kanjivatta, Devchandraji finally gets the darshana of the Lord Supreme Sri Krishna, and all the questions of his mind, all the questions he had, could be answered with the advent of Tartam. That would be the topic of tomorrow's discussion.